Welcome back to another episode of the Katrina Johnson Show. So happy to have you with me today. Remember to subscribe, share the podcast, leave comments. I would love to hear from you guys. Also, you can follow me online at katrinajohnson.online or on Instagram at I am Katrina Johnson. I thank you again for joining me, and let's get into the show. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Katrina Johnson Show. I'm so grateful that you are taking time out of your day to tune in to this show. I want to start this episode with a quote that's very relevant to the topic, which is discipline. The quote goes, "An immediate reward for the lack of discipline is a fun day at the beach. A future reward of discipline is owning the beach." That's a quote by Jim Rohn. I love that quote because it's basically saying that, we could spend our time having fun, doing all the fun things, right? And then look back and wonder why we are still in the same place. Why haven't we been able to move forward? Discipline is not easy, but the results of consistently doing things to get to the next level is well worth it. So let's unpack discipline. Let's see what it really looks like. Discipline sounds negative because sometimes, when you think about discipline, you're thinking about time out. If you're a parent, you have to give your kids time out. You have to discipline them. As an adult, I remember growing up as a child or looking back, now as an adult and looking back as a child, I had to be disciplined at times. I would be put on punishment. And it sounds negative when we think about it. It sounds like, one of those things or situations you don't want to be in. You don't want to be disciplined. It's a bad word, right? You think of punishment, etc. But the reason why a person would be disciplined, or a child, let's just deal with a child, is to correct them. Is to put them on the right path, the state of correction, right? But something I've learned growing up into my adulthood is that life will correct you. So you might be a grown person and you're living life on your own terms. You don't have a mom or dad over you anymore to discipline you. But there'll come a time where life will discipline you, if you guys know what I mean. So how about being in control of your attention, your emotions, and your actions, regardless of what's happening around you? That would be the other side of discipline. Discipline is good. Even though it sounds negative, it is good. It could be negative. But if we discipline ourselves, then what we're doing is we're taking control of what we give our attention to, how we behave emotionally, and the actions that we put in place in our life. It's being self-disciplined. I remember having a total lack of self-discipline in my younger years. And during that period of my life, I was very unfocused and I didn't have any clarity for my life. I felt insecure and I was unfulfilled. But there came a point as I kept growing and learning more about myself and becoming more mature, I learned the value of disciplining myself, self-discipline. And that's what we want. We really don't want anyone else to discipline us. We really don't want life to have to discipline us, right? We want to be self-disciplined. One example I can tell you about me discovering the power of being disciplined or self-disciplined is when I decided as an adult to go back to school. I took some online classes and to get my associate degree. And I did that, and I noticed how focused I was. I was determined nothing was going to stop me from the time I started school to the point where I was going to get that degree. I was so self-disciplined. I didn't allow any outside distractions. I was focused. I got up at the same time every day, got online, did my work. And you know something? There's strength and power in that. And a lot of people have a difficult time self-disciplining themselves if there's no one there to look over them and instruct them. And I'm talking about like in a school setting. Some people have to be amongst other people. They need that one-on-one, that in-person, face-to-face. So I was able to get through that by using self-discipline, and it is something that takes real focus. And like I believe with anything else, if you are really determined and you're wanting to make a change, I think you can just really get yourself in that discipline mode of whatever it is you're trying to do or accomplish. If it's to start your own business, if it's to finish school, goals, specific goals, you want to buy a house, you want to do this or that, doesn't matter. If you really are focused and that is something you're really determined to do, it's going to take some self-discipline in order to achieve anything. So I just want to leave you guys with some encouraging words, which is whatever you want in life, like the quote said, the future reward of discipline is the bigger picture, is what the quote was basically saying. You got to look at the bigger picture. You can always have fun. You can enjoy life. It doesn't have to be a boring life because you are trying to take care of business and you've got goals that you're trying to achieve. You can still enjoy life, but it's when you lack discipline and you are not focused, you're spending more of your time having fun, doing the fun things right now, and don't understand why you're not where you want to be, then there might be some lack of self-discipline. So I just want to encourage you to self-discipline yourself so you don't have to be disciplined by life. So you can look back and say, it was hard saying no to going out with my friends or saying no to, shopping every day or every weekend, going to the mall, going out to eat. It was hard saying no to that, but where I am today, I wouldn't be had I not said no to those things. It's sacrifice. Sacrificing now for a greater future. That's the key. That's the goal. So discipline is a good thing. Self-discipline is how we achieve and find clarity in our life and live a life of fulfillment. That's it for today. It's a short one, but I hope it meant something to you. And as always, stay inspired. Let's keep the conversation going by emailing me at katrina@katrinajohnson.online. That's katrina@katrinajohnson.online. So grateful that you joined me on this episode. Remember, information plus inspiration equals transformation. And until next time, stay inspired.